Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome to Victor's Legend Series, week number 2. I'm Beautiful Crow, joined by the homies in company. We got Cute Noob. Say hey, what's up?
Hello, friends! Happy Thursday! We are ready for this awesome gameplay.
Absolutely. And we also got the baddest Becky in the game over here. Say what's up, girl.
Oh, the baddest.
Oh.
Okay, making a league reference too. I'm here for it.
Yes, we are here to play some Valorant and to watch some teams struggle or succeed on the field of battle. Quick key notes here. Thank you guys for the 3,000 followers. That's really dope to have. You know, the community growing more and more each day. Like, we have a fun time in all of the Discord channels, all on Twitter, bantering between each other, and it just really means a lot. So keep spreading the love, keep sharing the socials, and let's get more people on this party. With that out of the way, it is week 2. We are going to be having a series in, I believe it is Group B today, or is it no?
Mhm.
Is it Group B? Yeah, Group B.
Mhm.
Yes. Okay. It is going to be Cataclysm versus Noct Gaming, and honestly, I'm ready to get into it as we do get everything loaded up in the lobby. But we have some, more things to talk about before we get to that point. Before our two teams get in and become gladiators of the field, there's some interesting things. Since we are in the most current patch, we actually do have Fade enabled, as we had talked about last week. Our girl's in the game; she's just
Oh.
not enabled for the
Yeah.
league.
Oh my
And
god.
but she's here. The new star of the show is here. We're ready to have this rocked. Um, so we'll be touching on that momentarily as we are, getting everything squared away. But yeah, it's new agents, so many possibilities.
Mhm.
She's been terrorizing solo queue and ranked alike. Like the girl's pretty good, I must say.
I definitely think she's very good. I've pretty much played her like nonstop since she came out. Not so much in ranked. Every time I've tried to play her in ranked, either everyone else like auto locks in a character and we need like smokes or something, or somebody else locks in Fade. So I haven't gotten to really play Fade in ranked specifically yet, but I have played a lot of Fade outside of that realm. So I'm definitely looking forward to see what a lot of players who are better than me at this game are going to be doing with an agent like her, because I think that in a lot of situations she kind of fills the hole that Sova maybe on certain maps doesn't do a good job of. The wall hacks that you can get across with somebody like a Fade are absolutely amazing. They're making some little tweaks to her eventually, I'm sure, but for now she's very strong and has a lot of potential. So I'm definitely interested to see kind of what our players are going to bring to the table with Fade and what I can bring into my own games as a result of what we see here today.
Yeah, I couldn't agree anymore. She is so OP. The information you get from Oliver Utah and just being able to tether the enemies and have someone just swing off. I do expect communication to be a huge factor of how you play Fade. If your team does not have that crispy clean communication, you're not going to get as much benefit out of her as you would with a team who is able to swing out of a flash or swing out of a tether or get those wall bang damages. So I expect to see her in here. Absolutely. Someone's got to bring her out. So who's it going to be? That's the question.
That is the
I
question.
hope, I want. It's like she's
Yes,
strong
yes.
enough. So we have to see somebody go ahead and lock her in. And I mean, like, we know that Sova is so utilized across so many different maps. And for the longest time, we haven't had an agent that did the things that Sova does. Like, you could kind of argue that Cypher does some kind of similar things, but the way that Cypher has to be in certain places to do those things are nothing like Sova. And so this is kind of the nicest bridge between that gap of like the extreme range that Sova can gather information at and the very short range that Cypher can kind of gather information at least at the start of planting that camera there. So I think that this is a really great agent. I think that it fills in a lot of gaps that were kind of present in the metagame. And I think I'm excited to see a different initiator that is more like Sova, but isn't kind of as pigeonholed and doesn't make it necessary to have something like the Sova on your team every single game.
Right, yeah, like we had seen at the last LAN event over in Europe, it was just we had that variety that we liked from a lot of teams, but more often than not, Sova is still sitting in that super high pick rate
Mm-hmm.
because he's just so universally uh, useful and like how he can use the utility, how he can be such a great information gatherer. We tried to fill it in the gaps with Sky, we tried to fill it in with KO a bit to varying degrees of success, but yes, very much Fade liking the toolkit that she has, liking the ability she brings to the table, and the more teams are getting used to her, the more I believe she's going to be a threat. So ready to see if these teams have practice. I mean, yeah, she was disabled last week, but it doesn't mean in the scrims, let's get something going. Let's get some practice in, sneaked in that fade time or playing in solo queue, looking at these accounts. With that underway, I do believe we have a little bit more time. I just want to touching on, but before we get into this game, rather between Cataclysm and Noct, any info on these players? Have we been looking at the solo queue accounts? Have we been looking at the match histories to get in a sneak peek on anybody?
Taking a look at just like ranks across the board, it kind of looks like we're looking at Noct Gaming being a little bit higher up, like on average, it seems like. But for the most part, this is like pretty different from what we were seeing previously. In the previous match that we watched last week, we had a lot of diamond players, at least as far as solo queue was concerned, for this act in the lobby. This time, everyone's pretty much immortal. Either they've all been grinding as a result of having that extra week into here, which could totally be the case. But they are kind of all hovering around that same area, and it looks like they're pretty even, but Noct Gaming just has that little bit of an edge as far as like the more amount of players that are in those higher ranks of Immortal.
Very nice, very nice. A pretty even matchup, a little bit edge out for Cataclysm. Okay, so before we get into this, I'm going to ask for the pre-series prediction from the two of you. Going off what we know, having the little bit that we have, who do we think is going to take this? And I will start with Cute Noob.
Oh man, put me on the spotlight. Okay. I don't know. We don't have a lot of information. The only information we have based on these teams is the fact that they didn't start off the first week in a winning streak. So both of them kind of have that chip on their shoulder. They're hungry for the dub. They want to get that win. I'm gonna go for the team that I can pronounce their name. Because otherwise I have not a lot of information to base off of. So I'm gonna go with Noct Gaming.
Ooh, and then I'm actually gonna, because last week we got kind of surprised. The team that had the lower solo queue rankings was actually the team to take down the series last week. So I think I'm gonna continue to kind of vote for the underdogs, at least until we're able to really get to see how these teams perform on a first map. The first map is, I believe, going to be Icebox, and I think you can kind of learn a lot about a team from how they play Icebox. You can tell really their creativity based on the agents that they bring in, as well as just a whole lot of communication, because Icebox seems to be one of those maps where communication and like identification of where your enemies are is so much more important than some other maps. I mean, you can kind of see it on Bind and some other places like that too, but Icebox in particular is one of those places where that exact clear communication matters so much for all these little corners that Icebox has. So I think that we're going to learn a lot from this first map, and I'm excited to see where that information is really going to bring us.
All right, and with that underway, we're going to get this started. Getting into Agent Select, we are going to be on Icebox. So, ladies,
fade,
I will step away, and y'all will take the reins. See y'all.
All right, and I'm taking the reins right into chanting for Fade. That's all I want to see. I think it makes sense that we're going to go ahead and see the Jet and the Chamber lock-ins. I think that those are some very important agents. I think the Vipers also make sense. Looks like, at least on Zugsy's point of view, going ahead, sticking with something that is that tried and true, that's that agent that we just know everyone has played so much in the Sova, just makes sense. So that looks like it's what we're going to be seeing from Zugsy here in the side of Noct, at least to start. Everything else looking pretty solid. The big difference that I think we're potentially going to see if we see these lock-ins come across for the other side as well is going to be the difference between this KO and the Sage. How do you feel about those, Cute Noob?
So I really enjoy the fact that they're sticking with the Sage. The Sage, it makes it very hard to push on a site, and not just push on a site, but also that mid control. Mid control in Icebox to me is very important. If you can really get aggressive into the mid, you can have your choice at what site you want to hit. Do you want to hit at A site or do you want to hit that B site? it's up to you, whatever you want to do. With the KO though, I am expecting for Noct to be a little bit more aggressive when it comes to the attacking side. For the most part, they're just trying to gather information and get some flashes, some pop flashes out there, and hold the pushes down. We shall see which one more is going to be successful. I think it's really depending on how your team is doing aim wise and also like the communication that you're getting. So I'm excited. I am excited. I'm expecting a really, really slow but methodical push coming out from CG, because they have that. They have the jet to be aggressive, but they also have the Soba to make sure that they are gathering as much information to get into that entry.
And I'm actually very excited that we're getting to see kind of this difference in duality between these decisions. The KO that is just like an extra way to gather information versus the Sage that is basically a way to deny information by saying like, here's a barrier orb, here is a wall that says that you can't go into this certain area. We're hoping that you just don't make it to these different points on the map and we won't have to worry about them. And that's so different from something like the KO 0 point where you're like, I would like to know who is in this area. I would also like to like cause this little bit of a silence. Potentially not where we wanted that initial little recon bolt to go, but that's where it is nonetheless. Not really going to be able to get any information about who is down mid for the attacking side to start off, but not to worry, as Skittles will be gathering that information very shortly, at least about the whereabouts of that chamber to start off. But the attacking side, very spread out here so far.
Yeah, they're playing a more slower pace, which I'm surprised. I said that they were going to try to gather information and hit a site, but that's not what they're doing. They're just kind of waiting for Noct to make the mistake, and Noct says, "Hey, we're not planning to make anything here at this moment." They do have that Viper Cloud to kind of give a little bit of intel, like maybe we're going to hit this mid. I don't know. We're trying to mind play with you, but with that recon bug coming out from Zug, it's going to let him know that that is not where it is. And we are going to get some action over onto this A site with the drone.
And Leb getting to get a ton of information from that 0.4 were revealed. Unfortunately, it's not going to be enough to deny some of these bullets that are coming across from NIJ9 as well as this Sova. And so far, so good for the attacking side. 4-2 situation, and Grimmar with a very nice little recon bolt to get some information about that upper rafter area. All of a sudden, Tanati is the only one left for the defensive side, trying to peek around these corners with this headhunter. Good for one, and taking down Yuno very quickly. A 1v2 situation could be possible, but that bomb is ticking down, and there's only so much time to be making these decisions.
Oh man, misses the shot, and the double peek from the attackers. Just beautifully done. They bought enough time for the defenders to stick onto their sites. Nobody rotated, nobody over-rotated, and it was the drone that brought them onto the site and the dash from the jet, and then not even having to peek. They gave a couple of bodies out there, 10 Addy getting that perfect headshot, but then after that, there was not much that the defenders could do, and just like that, they are able to buy up this following round. And I think this should be more of an aggressive round for them, as they do have that weapon advantage and are able to get onto the site quickly. There's only a KO onto the safe site.
And I mean, hopefully that will be enough to kind of hold it down. Maybe they're thinking that because the attackers won this first round, they have the longer range weapons, and they're going to go ahead and try for the longer range that is B and trying to go for that. But so far, it looks like we're kind of seeing this exact same default. The chamber hanging out towards this B long area with the Sova and the jet still hanging out towards this A belt part of the map as well. So kind of the same default that we saw on the last round, going for the attacking side, just waiting to gather information, see if anything is going to be given over from Noct Gaming. As we saw last time though, kind of still trying to play as safe as possible, and the buy up actually from Zenti going into this round, picking up that Marshall on the defensive side. So far gonna go very well with able to pick up that long range kill onto Gino and get them taken down, and actually able to pick up another one there as well onto Muffin Man, this time in that same area towards Bell. This is kind of a nice little off angle that's just barely able to see the top of their heads, but I mean, if you only need to see the top of their heads to get that headshot with that Marshall, that's all you need.
Oh, didn't even have to reposition off that recon bolt that he said, hey, I'm gonna stick my ground, but Grimmar pushes on through. Left J, able to get one, looking for the second, but no, it is the Spectre coming on through. Now it's just down left to Ninja 9. I believe that's the name here, and I guess so, because that headshot was nice, and Chris gonna bring out the headhunter, but unfortunately unable to finish it off. But defenders, living off of that Marshall.
I mean, gotta be kind of nice to go for that little bit of a buy-up from Zenti there, and then being able to convert that so nicely is actually, I believe, going to go ahead and throw over that Marshall to Tanati there and go ahead and let the Chamber hold on to it this round. Going to instead be the one to buy up full armor and a Vandal, move over that Marshall to a different player who's going to be able to hold on to a lot of those credits. Zugzy also holding on to a Spectre that was picked up from the previous round, getting to just keep holding on to some nice credits, and that's got to be feeling really good. While the attacker is kind of on a little bit of a rush decision here, gonna double wall through mid between that Viper as well as that Sage. Make sure that they're very safe to push through and get themselves onto this B site, but it's gonna be an uphill battle, especially if Grimar isn't looking at where Skittles is hanging out. Thankfully, Muffin Man with that Sheriff has a true aim and is able to find that kill, that peek into two. Maybe not what Zugzy would like to do. And now we're gonna be seeing a nice little bit of peekaboo, but no worries here as Lebj is the one to pick up 3 kills and very nicely get the defensive side another win.
Yeah, so right there, Becky, mid push, you're saving up. The most you have is a Sheriff in hand, and you try to make the best that you can. Yes, Skittle, what was it? Muffin Man able to get 1, but after that, I mean, they did the best they could at that point. This is where it's gonna matter. You have the weapons now in hand. You also are about to get this Hunter Fury on Grimar, and if you are able to get that, you're gonna be able to really be aggressive onto a site. They have to worry about Lebj and also Zenny, who's been really great at playing cheeky angles and getting headshots. And oh my goodness!
Whoa, from downtown.
That was a nice shock bolt.
Very nice. Doesn't actually hit anybody, unfortunately. Tanati getting a little bit up close and personal means that Drix is able to pick up that one. So very nicely able to maybe just a little bit of a ping diff, who knows. Better crosshair placement for the moment. Ooh, Skittles also able to pull up the gun just in time. Nidge gonna be able to go down there, no problems here in the attacking and defensive side. Currently at a pretty even 4-4 right now, and Zrik's gonna be forced back a little bit, potentially a little bit afraid of the presence that is likely due to that cloud burst. And now popping that toxic orb, gonna be able to just do some little bit of peeks and try to go for this kitchen push while the rest of the attacking side dedicates themselves towards this B site.
I like this. I like this flank coming around. It has to worry about the jet that's roaming around Zenti there, but they are going to be able to get that bomb down. Recon Bolt coming through, but it's getting aggressive. The wallbang does not come through, but Xerix with the flank able to get to lurking about, trying to get Skittle here, but now it's a 2v2 battle here, Becky.
Yeah, very nice lurk that we're actually seeing from Zrix on this Viper. Was able to get up into kitchen area. Now we know that Skittles has to be feeling a little bit paranoid. I know that somebody is close quarters here. Who is it? And it is still Zrix there. Very nice gun. Picks up 4 before falling to Lebj there. All of a sudden in a 1v1, that bomb is taking the 0 points. Reveals enough, but it's not enough to stop the bullets. Grimar gets us to an even 2-2 game.
Oh, that could have been anyone's round there, Becky. It was a 2v2. There was that massive lurk, but then the KO was able to trade off Lebj, and then it was a 1v1. Unfortunately, though, it was Grimar's aim that was just crispy clean and able to connect now. And we do have some ultimates on the board here, but we are on this back and forth kind of dilemma, Becky, where one team gets the lead and the other one just takes it right back. I think something that I found that is successful for CG is the fact that they're able to really be patient and wait for Nock to be making the ones to make a mistake. But unfortunately, if they're not making a mistake, they get caught out. So I feel like aggression should be a little bit more of a thought in their heads at this moment.
Yeah, they've definitely been able to capitalize pretty heavily off of aggression, at least from lurkers for the side of the attackers. And, ooh, I mean, that's got to be a scary little first thought here. All of a sudden, hearing the loud slam of that operator makes you worry for that owl drone, but also worry for this jet who's doing what jets do best, push onto site. Going to do a little bit of a cloud burst since that tailwind won't be able to push, to a different direction thanks to those recent changes. The Hunter's Fury going to be able to push off just a little bit. Tanati still looking, knows that somebody was there and is trying to make sure that if somebody stayed, they will be punished for it. Unfortunately, though, the attacking side have decided, with that operator presence, we're just not even going to mess with this site. We threw down that Viper wall. Hopefully, we dedicated
You want to play? Let's play.
This A site, and now we're going to go ahead, pop this tour de force, and get ourselves onto this B site.
Zenti, though, with the cheeky
30
peek,
seconds
does
left.
not get a kill. Has to reposition, but able to break this wall. The Viper's Pit's gonna come on through from Xerix. Gonna allow for the team to plant, but hey, look, we're just gonna push because, you know, if we fight for this plant, we might have a shot, but no, Xerix able to get the plant and the kill as well, and now it's a retake Vive.
Oh, Zenti trying to peek around that Viper's Pit as well and just immediately gets taken down. Skittles trying to peek in, trying to figure out exactly... Oh, there's a Viper's Pit from Skittles as well as Xerix, actually. I was wondering, I was like, how did we get the Viper's Pit to be on that second floor with just a little jump from the bottom? But I guess, yeah, that makes sense if Skittles also has the Viper's Pit there. But with the rotations, looks like they're just going to look for exit frags. That Viper's Pit is not something that the defensive side want to go ahead and mess with. And so Knocked Gaming, led, kind of just waiting for somebody to peek around. Does get a little bit punished there by Nidge, but unfortunately, that's what they're just going to have to live with since they did decide to go ahead and save this round.
And, I mean, that's the right call, Becky. At this point, the time was ticking. You have to roam into a Viper's Pit. You don't know who's around the corner. It's a scary scene to be in. So saving up makes sense as you are able to buy that operator onto 10, Addy, and also bring out some AKs as well. We are gonna have Leb on that Bulldog, just a Bulldog and a Light Shield, which could cause a little bit of a pickle. But I mean, you just gotta buy up with the team, especially if there's an operator in hand.
Here.
Yeah, unfortunately, that little bit of a moment that we saw Tanati do a little bit of a peek away was the moment that we saw the jump peek. So gotta feel a little bit unfortunate, and the jump peek did reveal that operator was hanging out there. So we see Xerix do a quick little scootaloot away from that side of the map and go towards this tube area, towards kitchen. There is a trademark there from the defensive side that would allegedly position be known as well as the rest of the team, so that is what's likely going to be the thing to catch them out here. But slowly pushing in, trying to watch those corners, make sure that if there is a trademark there, they'll be able to shoot it down as quickly as possible, slowly inching forward. They are able to take it down, but that will be giving away a little bit of knowledge. Skittles waiting for Xerix to peek out, picks up the one, trying to jump away, but unfortunately, on the top of tube to make sure that that punish is there. Now avoiding this recon bolt and trying to make themselves not known. Peeking out for that operator. The recon bolt will do Zugzy dirty there. Grim waiting for that peek around. Zenti to do the little bit of a trade back as the other two players towards that mid and back area just going back and forth. Now with the headhunter trying to change back between both those guns, trying to figure out where they can go to make this action happen. But this is quite the plant area.
This is indeed
impressive.
Able to connect Zenti. Now they have to worry about the 2-on-2 toward the force connect once, and Zenti with the other in the Marshall. Okay, we get it. Marshall and operator in the hands of CG. I'm sorry, Knock is the way to go. I have to talk about it, Becky. That mid push was beautiful. I could have sworn that was going to go in the way of Knock because they were so aggressive onto that mid, something that they haven't done before. So it caught CG, it caught Knock off guard. We have CG on attack. So CG just being really aggressive on that mid and getting onto the site. Also the plant. That plant was... I've never seen that plant before. Maybe, okay, I'm lying. Maybe I've seen it once or twice before, but that's a unique plant, and it was a beautiful attempt to hold. Unfortunately, it was not saying that was just better at that moment.
Yeah, they did a really great job of playing together in that moment with what little information they had. They made sure that they were going to be able to get one of those kills and, getting a little bit of vengeance from that previous round onto Zenti. Nidge is going to be able to find Leb as well. Very nicely done from those two, trying to get themselves onto site. Zugzy trying to rush around, gather some information, does get a little bit of vengeance there towards as well, trying to even the score up just a little bit. Flashed out by that recon bolt and forced to go a little bit further back. The peek from out top of that toxic screen does allow for Skittles to pick that one up, but low HPs is going to make that much more difficult. This toxic screen also really holding Muffin Man here, making sure that there's no vision towards that area until the recon bolt comes through, keeping out allows Tanati to pick up one, but Muffin Man still safe to pick up two.
One enemy remaining.
Now it is down to Skittle and a Dream. What flavor is your favorite? Doesn't matter because Skittle's got it, but there's no time, Becky. I don't think there's enough time. No, there is not.
Oh, Skittles knows it too. Oh, tries to run away, but is unable to make it happen. And we are going to see CG go ahead and pick up yet another one. That's kind of a heartbreaker because I believe that that also just makes the economy for the side of the defense and Noct Gaming just so rough. So many of their members are not able to buy up. Skittles can go ahead and buy full armor and a Vandal as well as all the utility, but aside from that, like, the rest of the team just wouldn't be able to buy up. We might see Zenti go ahead with a hero Vandal situation, but I think that they're deciding to just go ahead, all save, buy sheriffs where they can, work with what they got, save for the next round.
Yeah, I like the idea. You know that you have plenty of time to catch up. You're just one round down. And sheriffs in the right hands are pretty nasty, Becky. I've seen some incredible headshots coming out of some of these players. But actually, what's coming out is this Hunter Fury going to stop the push. Connects with Muffin Man. The Muffin Man is out of town now, but it's Xerix claiming the soul of Lebj. And now it's a 4v4 as the bomb goes down on this
Spike planted.
Ooh, Zugsy trying to peek around and take out you-know who's hanging out on top of that yellow box, but so far not going to be able to do too much. 4v4 situation and a mirror match now that Sage and that KO are down. Whoa, okay, alright, don't mess with Xerix, able to do a nice little 180 turn and take out both of the people trying to combat him around that area. Unfortunately, Skittles also going to fall prey to Xerix there. 4K on this Viper, but 5 rounds in CG's pocket.
So I'm seeing a lot of disconnect happening from this defended-sided team, Becky. They are trying to play retake, but they're trying to play retake as if you're solo queuing, right? One of them goes in, then another one. They're not really working together. They're not really using utility to back each other up. Once someone goes down, they started off the post plant with an even matchup. It was 4v4, but what ended up happening is that there was no KO knife, no flash, no chamber or nothing like that to really help one another. So if we want Noct to kind of bring it back here and really fight for these rounds, they need to be communicating and they need to be playing together as a team.
Yeah, and we got to see it when we saw Zenti and Tanati do that little bit of a retake in that 2v2 situation. They went in at the same time. They communicated, they used their utility, they covered a lot of ground as just the two of them. And if we can see that same level of communication, especially into something like this Viper's Pit, it should go a lot better. Zenti and Let's able to take a nice little start there. Unfortunately, the Sage for the side of CG able to bring Yuno back to life, and now it is left up to Yuno and Muffin Man in a 2v4 situation. Peeks into 3 of them. Unfortunately, Yuno will go down. Muffin Man able to take out Skittles, and a ledge finally around the corner as Muffin Man is forced to peek into Team Ace coming up from this defensive side. Team Ace for the side of Noct Gaming.
Yeah, perfect. Exactly what we were talking about. They were able to use that recon bolt. Jet was sneaky enough to be into that Viper's Pit already, not taking so much damage, able to take out the Viper, and then the rest of the team kind of stumbled onto the site and swung together. That is exactly what they need to do in order to get back and bring it to an even round. I do like this, though. Let's check out Skittle. Skittle bringing out the Viper's Pit and going to be playing a shotgun. Oh, come on, Skittle. You're messing with my heart. I was so excited to see a shotgun on Skittle.
Revealing area.
We hopefully at some point will be able to see it, but not now. And Skittles, speaking of that, does have the Viper's Pit ready, so could use that as a bait to turn towards this B side, but with a lot of gunfire already going out towards this A and mid side, not going to go ahead and dedicate that just yet. Holding very far back. I like that they've started to hold further and further back on this defensive side as well, instead of letting, as you mentioned, kind of the difference between communication and have one of them fall and then one of them fall and then never playing together. Now they're deciding to play a lot further back, try to make sure that they have space to move and regroup for retake situations, and I think that that's a good little alteration that we're seeing from them as they lost a few rounds.
Yeah, and they're being very patient. They're not over peeking. Teddy's gonna have the operator, gonna get repositioned by that recon bolt, and has to really think about over peeking it. They already know that there is a Soba nearby, and with that, Addy able to connect, taking out Soba out of the equation, is very low on health, and unfortunately for these defenders, there isn't a Sage. There's no type of healer, so gonna have to play for their life and reposition.
with that, activates that tailwind, makes a nice little push in alongside that cloud burst, but that KO ult is going to make it difficult to do much more. We're not going to be able to get that high ground on this Jed. Makes some shots, takes out Zuxi and Zenti, thankfully led, able to get a nice bit of vengeance there. 0 point to make sure that nobody else can use any utility in this close range area. Once again, just kind of peeking around with this sheriff. Knows that there's a guardian there,
Let's
goes
play.
for it, but Muffin Man is in a rough situation. Left with a nice around. Oh my gosh, that almost went so poorly for Skittles. Thankfully, that gun is a little bit better at shooting very fast, and Snotty saving both of those players who are trying to go for that defuse and pick up that last member of the attacking side. 5-5 now. Are we gonna have an even half?
I mean, it's looking like it. Last round, it looked like it was a full-on save for the attackers. As we can see, they are going to be able to full buy here. They also have that Hunter's Fury and the Blade Storm to come out, but it's still Skittle with that Viper's Pit, and it looks like they might potentially be bringing it to that A site, and we know how impactful that Viper's Pit onto the A site could be. It really locks down the site and it forces your attackers to have to reposition over to the sites where you actually want to fight, which is going to be that B, which is going to be that mid, and something, you mentioned it, Becky, that Nock has been doing phenomenally is playing back and making sure that they're not over-aggressing and able to retake together.
Mm-hmm. And hopefully we'll be able to see them continue to hold on to that. But if we're going to see some adaptations from this attacking side, as they are the ones calling this timeout, they have 2 rounds to try and get themselves into a really advantageous situation. And do you think they need to play faster or slower? What's an adaptation that the attacking side really needs to commit themselves to?
Well, because of the lack of mid hold, they're really relying on either 2 people watching mid or just that trademark coming out from Chamber. They did it before, which was they aggressed under that tube and were able to just get into that B side. I think they need to really exploit that mid section and how much, whether the defenders have 2 people watching it. If they do, then that means that there's only one site with 1 person. So you really got to see, okay, where are they holding? What are they doing to hold us off of it? I think that they're just feeling a little bit overwhelmed by the fact that they're not actually hitting their shots as they were at the beginning. So just re-aggressing a site together, that's worked perfectly fine for them. They should continue to do it.
It looks like so far they're still spread out, so not quite gonna heed Cute Noob's words just yet, but hopefully they'll be able to get something together. It is a lot more difficult when you're pushing into a Viper's Pit. That Owl Brain tried to gather a little bit of information, but wasn't able to spot anybody out, and as a result, looks like they will be actually taking your words to heart, and looks like we are seeing a total regroup with still a minute left on the clock, which is a lot faster than I feel like we've seen them regroup previously. So all 5 together towards this B long, slowly moving their way down. Use this recon bolt to clear out some of those tight corners, put down this Viper's wall, and now with it up, they will be keeping themselves safe from that operator, as well as that Hunter's Fury to try and clear out those areas. Zuxi almost stuck in a rough spot, able to get some damage onto Yuno, but Snotty to finish it off with that Headhunter, unfortunately losing that player on the attacking side is going to make it that much more difficult for them to hold this site, but a 4v4 situation is not too bad, and able to get a lot of that damage that was dealt to the attacking side. Viper healed up by that stage, very nicely done, trying to peek around those corners and keep people off this bomb. As long as they've got that Viper's wall up, they're in a great position as far as the attackers are concerned, trying to block off a lot of these areas that they can't be peeked out on, but just going so well. Muffin Man and Zix pulling up on that board. Oh, Zenti able to pick off 2, but it's just not going to be enough. And it looks like with the grouping strategy that you mentioned, they're able to get themselves a round in advance.
Although I have to say, yes, they did phenomenal. I feel like they did it a little bit too slowly, too. They could have been a little bit more aggressive after they knew, okay, that Viper's Pit's there. And they also knew that there was 2 people watching mid. But, okay, that's just me being really, really nitpicky about it. I feel like the defenders kind of dropped the ball there. You said it, Zuggs had so much information from that drone, able to ping out the jet and unable to actually get the kill on Yuno. I feel like it kind of bit them in the bum. But, I mean, we're on to the next round. They do have the Blade Storm if they want to bring it out to party. And they also very close to that Hunter's Fury as well. But Zenti does bring out the Blade Storm and is able to take the returning jet.
Very nice, too. I mean, we've kind of seen this, the battle of the Jets between these two players so far. We've seen a lot of action as they've been able to kind of butt heads at the start of every single round, going up, trying to get that high ground and see if anybody can get their heads taken off by those blades. Unfortunately, not going to spot anybody, but the rest of the attackers still playing
Out
very
of
closely
charges.
together here.
Scanning ahead.
I am very surprised, Becky, that we're not seeing more flames coming out of the defenders. I feel like they should be taking advantage of the fact that they don't really have someone to hold down the back. Zug's gonna push on through, gets two, but Muffin Man says it's time to shut it down. Zenti's still with the Blade Star, connects beautifully, and now it's just down to the Muffin Man. Can the Muffin Man come through is the question. No, he cannot.
Yeah, unfortunately picks up one, but Zenti is just on top of it. Gave us the very satisfying right click. I'm convinced that nothing is more satisfying than a right click kill on a Jet. It's so fun to watch every single time. And with that, we are switching even half, 6-6. What do you think we're going to be able to see go very differently now that we're getting to see this KO on the attacking side and the Sage on the defensive side? What do you think is really going to either click or not click for these players?
They're gonna have to really get rid of utility. You're gonna have to, if you are Knock, you're gonna want to farm out utility before actually aggressing onto a site. You're gonna be stopped at tunnel. You're not gonna be able to really push. You're not gonna exploit that mid as much as I would have liked CG to do when they were on attack. And you're also gonna be very held back by the Vipers, Snake Bites, the Wall, the Cloud, you name it. And on A site, same thing with the Soba Darts. So if you can really bring out a lot of util out of these defenders, then that's going to be really easy for you to take on the site. And not only that, but hold post plant.
Yeah, and I think the really beautiful thing that we're also getting to see is this three-person hold on A. You don't really get to do that with anybody other than a Sage. If Sage just gets to lock down mid, you can go ahead and dedicate a ton of people towards this A site because Sage holds down mid so well, Viper holds down B so well. All of a sudden, what are you going to do with the three remaining players? Just make sure that this A is an iron fortress, and so far, so good. We are seeing a little bit of a rotation from this chamber after some initial shots, but so far, we are also seeing a lot of aggression kind of all across the map, eventually going to be forced a little bit off from Zenti there, but nicely pushed back, waiting for the rest of the team to regroup and try to get themselves this plant onto B site. But it's going to be a lot more difficult since, like we mentioned, they don't have that Sage on this attacking side. But I mean, just like that, making it look like it was so easy. No Sage.
Oh man, 10 Addy had the perfect word, unable to connect the Headhunter. Yuno comes out on top, 19 health and a dream. Now able to really come back with the squad. Look at these defenders, they're not afraid of pushing.
Oh my gosh. And I mean, I guess it makes sense. Grim are able to pick up two, but nice little trades back and forth all of a sudden. Muffin Man, the only one remaining, but has just more life to work with, and thankfully is going to be able to get that defuse across, no problemo.
I feel like the knock was a little bit too slow on that hit. Yes, they were able to create a lot of sound onto that A and mid site, but they allowed enough time for Muffin Man to really rotate over onto that B and help out Xerix. So had they aggressed it a little bit earlier, I feel like it would have been perfect because they would have been able to get rid of Xerix right off the bat. No Poisonous Cloud, no Wall either. So maybe a little side note for Knock, be a little more aggressive after you create that movement.
We'll see if they're able to do that here. Tanati trying to look at some action going on towards mid. Not going to be able to convert any of it, you know, with some nice peeks. Able to get some damage across there. Since the attacking side does not have a Sage, they will not be able to heal up that damage. And just like that, Nidge able to pick off a Zenti very nicely. Things that you'd love to see. Chambers rendezvousing away to safety after picking up a nice, easy, breezy kill. We are going to see Muffin Man probably go ahead, think about walling off that area. Spectre, okay, almost not converting into a kill there. Thankfully had that tailwind ready to go and is able to pick up this Bulldog. Nice little upgrade there. Go for this reload and retreat back into two.
One
Just like
enemy
you were saying
remaining.
from the last round, this defensive side that we're seeing from CG is not afraid to get aggressive.
No, gets the pick off of Muffin Man, but unfortunately there is Ninja 9 there already ready to clean up town. And we expected that round, Becky, and you're going to hear this for the next following round. When someone is able to buy up and get that upgrade, it's always going to go, if most of the time, I shouldn't say always, because there's always those exceptions. It goes your way. Yeah. That's true, with the Marshall on Zenti.
Yeah.
So
Zenti really made it happen. It was great, but Zenti not able to make it happen this time, being on that attacking side half. But now they're able to do this bigger buy, so now the table's kind of turning in their direction.
they have to turn the tables here, otherwise their economy is going to be down for the dumps, and we are going to get a lead, a 3-point lead for these defenders. It's going to be the Shockwave, it's going to be the Knoll coming out already onto the site. It is Zug able to get that first pit, and now we are pushing onto the site. It's a Sheriff backside for Yuno, able to connect, though I guess Yuno and a Sheriff are just one. And the bombs gets planted. Now it's going to be a take for the defenders, but these attackers are very low on health here, Becky.
The blind almost allowing for you to pick up another kill. Ooh, the game sense and location. I mean, you mentioned it. Some players are just really nasty with the Sheriff, and Yuno just might as well be one of those players able to pick up 3 kills before falling to Tsunade. And unfortunately, with that barrier warm up, makes it that much more difficult. Tsunade will be able to live with this Vandal, but the round will be going in the other, at the side of CG's way. Oh my goodness, what a round that I just, oh my gosh, just chef's kiss, beautiful. I have no words because those 3 kills, like one after the other, just were like so smooth.
Yeah, nobody ever talks about the Sheriff. Yes, we talk about the Operator, but the Sheriff in the right hands is basically an Operator if you headshot every single time, and that is exactly what Yuno has shown us. But what's a little bit more on the downside, on the sad side, we do have Zenti on this Marshall as Knock has to low buy here. They don't have enough money to really invest, and they have to worry about the following rounds. Yes, they're down 3, but 3 is nothing if you just are able to buy and build economy over and over again. It's going to be Leb. Not as successful as Yuno on the Sheriff. Has to reposition and go off with a bomb. Muffin Man holding mid here with this Vandal. Leb though. Okay, we see you.
Yeah, picks up a 1 and then goes ahead and throws out that grenade, and that does kind of force out that barrier orb from the Sage. Does immediately get shot down, but it looks like the aggression is definitely holding more towards this A area. They still have that toxic screen to place down and get themselves a nice position onto site, and it looks like they're pushing for it. Oh, okay. Sometimes you just really aren't expecting somebody to peek around that corner and you just don't shoot. That's fair. Sometimes you're just not prepared for it. I get it. I do it all.
Spike planted.
Same. I'm with you on that boat, but Yuno wants to get this point for themselves here, as gonna bring out the Blade Storm, gonna lurk around. That recon bolt does not connect and is able to get rid of it before even being pinged, so that's gonna be an advantage. No intel for these attackers. They're just gonna have to wait on this tap.
Yeah, I mean, just trying to get themselves in. Ping it. Out to try and make it 1, make it 2, make it 3. All of a sudden, 4 kills Muffin Man's away. Nobody is allowed to stop this defuse. Yuno is gonna get it, and CG will be able to get themselves to double digits.
The Muffin Man and Yuno. That's the show that I'm picturing in my head right now. We have Yuno, who just absolute menace with the Sheriff, and then we have the Muffin Man, who you give any sort of weapon and we have seen be successful with. And when you have that combo, you have a really good Sage and you have a really good Jet. It makes sense. And when do you ever see a Sage top fragging on Icebox, Becky?
Oh, I mean, I think the place where you do see it, because Sage has been one of those characters that has so ebbed and flowed out of popularity on Icebox that when you do see somebody go ahead and lock in the Sage on this map, it's somebody who's really comfortable with playing the Sage on this map. They know what their purpose is, they know how to utilize the utility. Get everything off just perfectly with the rest of the team, you know. Getting a little bit caught out by this Outwood Road. Ooh, and now going to be able to tailwind away from that Hunter's Fury, thankfully. But, I mean, when you're seeing a Sage on Icebox, it just feels like a match made in heaven. If they're comfortable enough to play the Sage, they know where their place is, they know what they should be doing, and it just goes together like peanut butter and jelly, and that's what we're getting to see Muffin Man do on this map right now, and that's why we're seeing them at the top of the board.
They are definitely leading the way. 10 Addy, though, trying to lead the way onto this site, has the Operator in hand. but hey, Xerix knows better than to peek up onto platform. Zenti trying to get aggressive there, but the Muffin Man is in town, cleaning up. Grimoire helping as well. The flash goes through, but unfortunately no one is able to capitalize on it. Now we're down to a 2v2.
30 seconds left.
Still an op
Spike
in the
planted.
hands of our chamber. Also bringing out the op as well. So it's going to be a battle of the ops here, Becky.
Oh my gosh, Tenati is definitely watching towards that upper area as well, making sure that nobody
One enemy
but
remaining.
we do manage to pick up a kill and make sure that at least one is down. 1v1 situation. Unfortunately, the cloud burst is not enough. Tenati watches go for the run towards the bomb and makes the shot. And finally, a point back towards the attacking side for Noct Gaming.
Noct Gaming fighting their way through only one weapon left. They're going to have to really dig deep into their pockets. They're going to be very low on shields. They're going to have to rely really on either that Viper's Pit to hold them post-plant or the chamber be able to hold down that backline, make sure that nobody flanks them, and getting those initial picks. Something that's been working out for Noct has been really being patient and holding out time. I know we talk about a team being really aggressive, but I guess that was not the plan. Zenti peeking through and getting killed by Ninja.
Alright, Zugzy able to take out that wall there, make sure that we can at least get the team on the ground floor, pushing through towards this A site. We do have that defensive side Viper wall that's going to make it that much more difficult for the attacking side to push up and in towards this A site. Muffin Man continuing to be the aggressive Sage that we've seen time and time again, as well as this long lurk from Yuno. Goes for the reload. Unfortunately, that's the time that somebody peeks out, able to pick up a one, but thankfully Skittles there as well. At the same time, trade across the map, Muffin Man to pick up a one, and just like that, Zugzy with a very nice trade back, still with agent advantage for the defensive side, as we're actually seeing Nidge continuing to hang out towards B site, like just in case they decide to really go, like, okay, finally maybe choosing to move, maybe okay, yeah, now we're gonna move on the other side of the map, and hopefully it will be with enough time. Zugzy will definitely have enough time to get this plant off, and Nidge will have to figure out exactly where they're gonna try and come on the site from, but very nice quick scope will be able to grab that kill onto Zugzy, and yet another around as the defense continues to hold their lead.
Oh, that's definitely feels bad for CG here, as they were hoping that this was going to be the round, that they can bring it back, get added onto their count there, but unfortunately not able to do it, and yeah, we're down to the last 2 points here, Becky. What do you think Noct needs to do here to help a run? Because they do get the initial point, but they can't continue to add up rounds to their scoreboard.
Yeah, they're really just, I think it's really hard. The Sage that they have on this defensive side is just doing such a good job of being in these really
You want to play? Let's play.
It's that much more difficult for them to one, get on site, and then if they do get on site, find a way to continue to hold against the barrier orb. Like, they've had the bomb defused on them twice because that barrier orb, I get it, it's pesky, and it's hard when you don't have multiple players there to try and shoot it down immediately, but you gotta just have a plan ready to go, and I feel like the plan should involve potentially going towards a site that isn't A, yet we continue to see Noct go towards this A site, and a nice one-for-one trade between these ultimates on the Chamber and the Sova, but we're just gonna need to see so much more happen, especially when the Sage for the defensive side has that resurrection available.
Yeah, the res is possibly going to come through as the attackers rotate over. We do see Grim are already in mid, waiting for any sort of information. Gonna peek, but doesn't see anyone. It looks like the attackers are just set on hitting that A site, hoping that someone has already rotated off, and all they have to do is clear one out. But no, as we can see, there is 2 of these defenders already through Recon Bolt. Also, the Hunter Fury just being popped because even though they didn't see anyone, they're just gonna pop it here. Zug able to connect with one. They have to worry about Zerk, who's still about town, and 2 go down. Now left down to the wire. Zug has a lot to prove here.
I have the spike.
Yeah, okay, that was a really good snake bite. Unfortunately,
10 seconds
the
left.
reposition, Bugsy is able to pick up that kill pretty easily. Thankfully, the defensive side with a lot of players still remaining means Grimmar is able to pick that one up. An unfortunate time to pull that knife out. I get that it feels like it's down to the wire, but now it really is with CG on match point.
CG just beautiful, patiently waiting for knock. And Noct has just continuously, like you said, been hitting this A site. They aren't really reacting to what they are giving. They're just trying to implement their way. And it looks like CG says, you know what? It doesn't matter what you want. We have the correct utility. We have the correct aim, and we're gonna stop you from pushing onto the site.
And just like that, KO coming out, grenade out the back of this site, as well as Viper's Pit. Just better placement of that gun. Unfortunately, placement doesn't matter against a judge that you can't even see. Skittles is able to pick up that one. Nice little one-for-one trade. Get yourself safe in this Viper's Pit from the attacking side. Get that bomb down, and now Skittles is just waiting to do what you do best on this Viper for somebody to peek in to your poisonous gas, essentially. Out finds one. The resurrection is coming through onto Grimmar, but we're gonna see that actually go through. Oh my god, great! So many back and forth, faster than I can even talk. Tenati picking up 2, Zagorix to pick up 1 as well, make it 3, and the round, the game for CG.
Oh my goodness, Becky, that was as quick as a blink of an eye. And just like that. Crow, hello, how are you?
Well, yeah, just in the blink of an eye. I mean, we were watching what looked like it was going to be a slight comeback, maybe for Noct, and then and Muffin Man were just like, "Hey, y'all need to chill out for a second. We need to show you some fun stuff." But really great showing, and then at game one, like, God, you talked about it a lot, cute noob, talking about and Muffin Man, the top fragging Sage on Icebox. What? Hold on, that happens? It was insane. It was absolutely insane. I loved it for sure.
Oh, and I mean, on top of that, we just got to see a really great kind of play from everyone on CG. We saw Zyrex do a lot of great Viper utility. I mean, especially when it's moving, or when they were on that attacking side. We got to see really great patience on putting up that toxic screen, great communication that you got to see from likely that Viper and something like that Sova, as well as kind of the movement off of using that Viper as that default kind of B player, and instead using it towards that A site, which I know has like started to be something that's picking up in recent popularity, and a lot of people just aren't prepared for. So beautiful use from Zyrex on that Viper as well. And then Grimmar did actually end up with the highest combat score by 1 point, over Zyrex, but doing a great job on the Sova nonetheless as well, doing what Sovas do best, gathering that information, utilizing that Hunter's Fury to be able to clear out a lot of those kind of pesky corners as well. Just ended up being like a really beautiful showing from CG. The moment that we got to see them go to that defensive side, it just seemed like they had a strategy that the side of Noct Gaming was not prepared for.
Yeah, I think what I have a lot of questions for Noct Gaming is like I want to know their mentality as to why aggressing one site was the best way to go for them. Also, that mid and that A was constantly being stacked. I feel like there might just have been a little bit of miscommunication as to, okay, who's playing here, what are they doing, and how can we work around it. You said it might have just been a little bit of what CG was doing, which was switching up their defensive constantly. But I would have liked to see a little bit more diversity coming out from Noct Gaming. Hopefully we'll see that in the following map.
Hopefully, indeed, and both teams, look, I think they hear us because they're ready to rock. They're telling me, caster start game, and I'm like, look, man, we got to get some points across first. But yeah, both of these two teams itching, raring, ready to go, and we're going to get into agent select right here in a second. So once again, I'll be stepping away, and ladies, y'all going to do what you do best, and that is cast some Valorant and bring the hype to these games. So I'll see y'all in a second, and I'll leave y'all to it.
All right, we really do appreciate it. We will be going to Haven next at as breakneck speed as what it felt like the second half of that game was. We're going right into it. I mean, Noct said, hey, we don't like how that last game ended up. We're looking to just go right back into it. We've got a game plan, and we're ready to show that we are not taking this laying down.
Yeah, I want to see a little bit more assertiveness from them, a little more aggression and a diversity, just as I mentioned before. And with diversity, we want to see Fade too. Actually, you're gonna get a Neon, which I actually really like Neon on this map, Becky, because I feel like Neon could be so quick and so fast to get into these like really weird corners that you have to double check if you are on attack or defense. So to have that Neon, I really, really do enjoy. And it looks like we might see both of the teams bring out the Neon. We might actually potentially be getting a mirror matchup depending on what Grimmar is deciding to choose here.
Yeah, this will be kind of interesting. We did see Grimmar go for the Sova last game, and it looks like potentially hovering to do that exact same thing going into this game. But I mean, for similar reasons, you see something like the Neon able to get into a lot of those interesting places at a very quick pace is kind of the similar reason that you see something like the Omen be so popular on this map as well as being able to utilize that verticality on the Omen as well. So I like both of the controllers going for that pick going into this map, and it looks like once again we're just going to see a one agent difference. And every time that you see the Neon, you pretty much see the Breach right alongside of it. You need somebody to go ahead and throw out those flashes for Neon to go around and peek those corners. So I love seeing that combination. Having the smokes coming out from the Omen, as well as we mentioned from the extra little bit of teleportation and distance that you can gather. Chambers just chambers. If you're not going to see a jet, you're going to see a chamber. You gotta have one of these econ agents in your team composition pretty much at all time, and there isn't a way to really get around that in the metagame right now. The only difference that we are going to see is the Sky being brought across by, I believe, Noct Gaming on Ledge, and then Grimmar. I'm going to go ahead and stick to what we saw top frag on the Silva from the last game for CG.
Yeah, I am excited to see how this double initiator, aka flasher, is going to work. We saw that Noct struggled on the attack for Icebox. Now they are going to be starting off on attack here at Haven, and they're going to be blind. They're going to blind. You should be ready to be blinded, chat, or at least I should say defenders, because there is so many blinds already in their back pockets. But it's going to be that recon bolt that's going to give Ninja the first kill. Make that two. Aye. Okay.
All right. I mean, very nice. Decided to not back down after that first kill. Said, you know what? I got one, but I'm looking to get two. Picks up another one there as well. Headhunter, so well utilized by Nidge here. And now we're going to see a nice little just peek around. Was able to rendezvous away, waiting for that cooldown to come back up. Set those back down onto the map. Get some extra mobility elsewhere, as well as the rest of the defensive side kind of peeking around that A long area. But it looks like with those two deaths, we are going to see the attacking side go ahead and commit themselves elsewhere on the map.
Makes sense. You don't want to bother with a chamber and a headhunter, especially when they have already got two kills. They're going to rest their way onto Z site. There was only one. Now it is joined by the Breach. They're going to have to worry about these two members of this defensive. Able to connect with one. Zug's leading the way. Zenti says, let me add on to that kill count. Thank you very much. And now the bomb has been planted. It's going to be a 2v3 man advantage for these attackers, and continues to grow.
Okay, Skittles, we see you. You know, not able to find that headshot and does get punished for it with that second kill coming out from Skittles. All of a sudden, I mean, those first two kills really had me vying for CG there, but thankfully Skittles and Zugsy said, hold the phone. We're trying to buy Spectres and Bulldogs into this next round, which means we've got to take it, and they certainly do. Very nice pickups from the side of Noct Gaming here to start us off on Haven.
Not only that, Becky, but I applaud. Like you can't see me, but I'm standing up. Okay, half standing up, and I'm applauding because they rotated, and that's something that we didn't see them do a lot on Icebox. They wanted to go A, and they wanted to hit that hard, but now this time they learned their lesson. We can't hit a site, so we rotate over and we aggress on this mid. After the blind goes through, but unfortunately able to connect. And look at how deep this Omen is onto that C site.
Oh my gosh, already just waiting, and Zyrex almost certainly is not prepared for this. The peek round is good. Skittles finds 2, and just like that, Zyrex is like, wait a minute, people are on my side? How did I let this happen? Falls to ledge. I mean, unfortunate situations all across the board as it is left just up to, well, make it left up just to Muffin Man. All of a sudden, how that last game kind of went is really falling out of CG's hands. The blind is good. Muffin Man to find 1, but turns right around into Zenti.
We're not gonna talk about how Skittle died to a classic. Not gonna talk about that because the Skittle did. I mean, okay, fine, that's a point.
Life is hard when you're blinded.
True, you're right. Okay, moving on to the following round, we do have a weapon advantage finally coming through for these defenders, and they're down 2. We saw this happen, but it was the other way around, right, Becky? It was CG on top, 2-0, and the defenders, which was Noct, they couldn't really pull through. So this is gonna kind of dictate how we're gonna go about what the vibe for Haven is gonna go as following rounds with that recombo coming through onto a site. It gets eliminated as soon as it gets put out there, and a knock comes through for Zenti, not able to connect. They are gonna be really aggressive onto this A site. The rotation already coming on for the defenders as well.
Yeah, we're seeing quite a spread. I mean, we saw this on Icebox as well. But, I mean, with more sites to hit, it just feels like it is more at home to the side of Noct Gaming here. Shockbolt to make sure that that ultimate orb can't be the target of the attacker's affection. And so far, so good, you know, trying to get the use of that little bit of energy, those dashes, and make sure that some of these angles can be very safely peaked. But so far, the defensive side doing a really great job of playing far back once again, making sure that they're able to push off of these sites should they get aggressed on, and just be ready to play for retakes. Grimmar likely able to give over that information about that recon bolt, and as well as this fast lane allowing for Zenti to get right onto this site very quickly. Though Grimmar able to pick up Zugzy means that we are going to see Zenti be alone for a moment, able to do a nice little play, one back and forth as Nidge, and you know, from the defensive side, finish off the rest of the attackers and get themselves a point in this game.
Okay, we wanted this. We like these back and forth type of battles. The weapon advantage was on the hands of the defenders, but there was 3 defenders who they fell through on that round, so they're gonna have to really invest into their pockets. We're gonna see a Spectre on Xerix, as well as potentially the Tour de Force being brought out by Ninja. It looks like that's what we're gonna see here, and the attackers now have to decide, okay, they accidentally got picked. We saw the Sky getting picked over in Garden, so they're gonna have to worry about that mid kind of Garden location, because that is where they fell through. Where can they find that hole? Where can they be aggressive? They know the Tour de Force is hanging out mid, so they're not gonna aggress there. Seeing what's over onto the C site, you know, playing a really aggressive angle here.
Yeah, we'll see if Ninja is able to find anybody towards this mid site, but considering how many of the attackers are moving towards the C long area, I don't think we will be able to. Gonna go ahead and block themselves off with this smoke, and they're gonna take a little bit of damage through the smoke, but it saves them from taking some long range shots. But doesn't stop some of those default shots as Muffin Man is able to pick off Skittles. Now pop flashing out of these smokes for you. The defensive side also have a smoke up here, which means they could still utilize some of these flashes, but with Ledge in this corner, they might be forced to commit, or it's going to be hard to get Ledge out of this area.
This is a pickle. Time is running 40 seconds on the board to be specific. The Tour de Force is still in the hands of Ninja, so they're gonna have to worry if they decide to rotate here. It's gonna be the Trailblazer entering the site, not quite connecting. It's Zug able to get the Omen out of the way. Has to worry about who's on site, but Senti is the winner now this time around. The bomb still needs to get planted. It's gonna be the late rotation from these defenders, able to connect twice. Now down, it's a 2v3. The Tour de Force does not come through. 10 seconds on the board. The bomb needs to get planted, and Grimmar is the last man standing for these defenders.
Last man standing, and they kind of, I mean, they should have known his location. We got to see Grimmar do a nice little peek around and pick off one of them, but not 2. And now Grimmar is able to pinpoint exactly where Zugzy is. Unfortunately, after that pickup, was not ready with the crosshair placement to take out Ledge, so that 3rd round is going to go Noct Gaming's way.
Very, very nice. Bringing it all together. I was very, very nervous, Becky. I was super nervous because they were buying too much. They were investing too much time onto the C site without actually knowing whether they wanted to hit it or not, right? It kind of looked like they wanted to bail because it was too spicy. They were getting smokes. They knew someone was around. But then it was that like kind of last minute choice of, you know what, we're just gonna full send it onto the site and hope for the best.
I mean, it worked out for them, and hopefully it can work out for them again. Nice little guiding light to start. The power glide this time is not going to be good for Zenti, isn't it? Able to find that nice headshot, though. Trades back and forth to keep us at an even 3v3, and they know that this chamber is hanging out in this sewer area. Ooh, oh, the peek around almost finds Skittles, but it's not going to quite be good enough. Slowly inching forward. This is so aggressive from the defensive side.
Oh, Ninja already in the back line. Becky, oh, I'm nervous. Gonna perfectly time both of them. Maybe even able to get a collab. Able to connect
enemy
once. The
remaining.
flick does not come through from
Spike
Leb.
down
The bomb
mid.
is down. It is now down to just one member of these attackers. They have to get the bomb. Skittles has to come on through for this team if they want to continue to add. Able to connect with Ninja. Now there's a 2v1, but it's a crossfire happening from this mid.
Oh no, an unfortunate time is about to start. Pings it out, and the
that was
paranoia makes it so that Skittles has no choice. The thrifty round is gonna go CG's way.
Oh, so nice. It's a 2-3. CG just pulled it out from the smoke. They were low on weapons. They had just a sheriff. I think they might have picked up a vandal from one of the fallen attackers. But it was the blind that really made it for them that round and allowed them to buy up this round and even have a little bit saved up in the bank. But they also have the Neon ult as well as the
You want to
103
play?
as well
Let's
that
play.
they can mess around with if things get a little bit too hairy.
Just like that, Tanati hanging out in that smoke is gonna get pop flashed out, and thankfully nobody is there. Gonna just be able to hold this very unique angle with that tour de force in hand. High ground is being held from this defensive side. Omen, though, is actually going to stay safe. Nidge, once again, being very aggressive and getting rewarded for it with that kill on Zuxi.
They managed to do that a lot, and now I feel like, come on, you gotta pay attention, Nock. If you're getting caught out with those flanks, that means you gotta pay a little bit more attention to these flanks, but what they're paying attention to is this mid push as they have Skittles smoking out the C site. But little do they know, Yuno's already ready for this peek. The blind comes through, has to reposition. Yuno's getting pushed by two attackers. Make that 3 as 10. Addy able to connect with that towards the floor. Still some bullets left in the chamber as they make their way onto C side. But look, this late lurk from Ted Addy.
Okay, I mean, very late to come across, but still waiting for the rest of the team to get all into the same place to go for this retake. I like waiting for the team. Looks like we do see it planted for long, and with that, Grimmar able to at least suss out that Zenti hanging out in that back corner, clear off that one. Tanati still hanging out very nicely in that garage area, picks off one, waiting for more people to keep themselves out, but unfortunately, with that smoke in place, the defense just get to go for the defuse.
Oh, okay. I think that was oopsie daisy by these attackers, but also beautifully done by CG taking over and
Did they mask
retaking
the
together.
sound of the defuse?
I think there might actually be a bug because I was playing ranked earlier and there's a bug where it hears like someone's diffusing, but then they're off of the bomb. So that could have been it. I don't know. I don't know if Valorant has actually made any comments about that bug, but that's definitely a bug. But I don't know if that's what happened.
Definitely, regardless, was a stealthy defuse that was able to come across that recon. Both going to be able to peek out a lot of the members of the attacking side who are hanging out in a long area. Owl Drone going to be able to ping out Zugsy as well, and now just Grimmar waiting to be as aggressive as we've seen Nidge be on those previous rounds as well.
I'm glad that they're keeping a lookout for this Zenti, and it's going to be a double push. Zug able to connect with the sheriff. And the whole attackers have that sheriff. They're waiting out, trying to buy out the next following round. But when you get rewarded like that, you take it.
And just like that, peeking around, tour de force
Spike
in
down
hand. That's
A.
all a chamber needs. Finds that kill onto Skittles. Skittles just cannot catch a break, it feels like. I feel like we've watched Skittles either have the most insane round or get taken out really early and in the most unfortunate ways. Slowly inching down this A-long area, gonna pass like ships in the night against Ledge
got
there.
your
And
trail.
so far, with that, the Seekers are gonna come out. Relabeled from Yuno is going to get right in the middle of that fast lane. Finds one kill, peeks out into
Spike
Zenti,
down
unfortunately
A.
blinded. Does mean that Zenti is able to pick that one up very nicely. Now the paranoia is gonna force Zenti to just hold out in this corner. The not fast push. Zyrex, though, nicely able to make sure that that corner is actually safe. The concussion is going to be good and allows for Nidge to find the final member of the attacking side.
You're happy. You're happy if you're knocked because you got 2 weapons out of the hands of the defenders. Although, let me double check this economy. It doesn't matter. They're pretty rich. But hey, if you can get them to start spending some of their economy, it could allow you to further buy or further defeat them in the future. They're only 1 round down. The attackers do have that Rolling Thunder, and we know how crazy things get when you pair up a blind, a Rolling Thunder, and hey, why not even some flashes from your sky? I think it's about to get really chaotic very soon here, Becky.
Oh, yeah, and I'm looking forward to it. The more that we've seen chaos come out from both of these teams, the more that I've enjoyed these games. And just like that, the attacking side has said, we're done playing. We're just gonna go ahead, get this fast lane, run down on site. I mean, you've seen it with the Jet, and now get ready for Neon 2.0, the B plant that just goes so smoothly. Fast lane allows for that plant to go down and get out, no problems whatsoever. And now the defensive side just has to make sure that they can get themselves this situation as well. They're gonna tap that bomb, but just like you mentioned, Rolling Thunder to come out. Zugzy to pick up 1. Grimmar trying to go for that defuse once again, but the blinds are just making it so difficult for the defensive side to get anything done. Tries to hold the bomb, gets taken down once again. The dark cover to make it that much more difficult. Trying to get the shot to launch makes it that much more difficult. Skittles picks up 2, picks up 3, and brings it home for the attacking side of Noct.
That is exactly what I expected for this round to be. With how many Yuto was available to this squad, it was so close though for CG to be able to finish on through. Fortunately, Skittle has like the tingling sense of Spider-Man because able to just spray through the smoke and know exactly where those 2 defenders were. Chef's kiss. And you said it, Becky. Skittles either has the perfect timing or the worst timing. There's no in between.
I feel so bad because I feel like we all have those moments where we're like, oh, that was an unlucky time to peak. And we also have those moments where we're like, wow, I'm a god. And I feel like Skittles is just doing a great job of inhabiting the feelings that we all have in every single one of these games. On the opposite side of the board, though, we do see Yuno buddied up with this breach overdrive, the buzzing, trying to see if we can find anybody. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to peek out and find any of the attackers. And just like that, now with just a classic in hand, it's not like those blades and the blade storm from Jet.
That's a feels bad if you are a you brought that overdrive. You were hoping to get a cheeky play here, and unfortunately, that's just kind of, to me, feels like a waste of an ultimate now. Following through, you didn't even get to get any intel whatsoever either. So now the attackers gonna be using, talk about intel, that shadow coming on through. Skittles is in the back line. He's either gonna pop off or it's gonna be a flop here, folks. That's it.
I mean, that was a little bit scary. We saw that Zyrex was actually able to see Skittles, a little bit of the tendrils from that ultimate, had to turn back to get a kill elsewhere.
B.
And then all of a sudden was
left.
like, at least I communicated to my team that Skittles was hanging out back there. Just like that, Skittles does fall. Nidge, once again, you think that they would learn that Nidge is just like the flank master, has flanked almost every single round here. And yeah, it feels like we're still just never quite prepared for it. The flash comes out, the rendezvous away, and I mean, we gotta know. We gotta know that Nidge is top of the board for a reason, and it's because these flanks are just so unpredictable.
Yeah, you either get a full aggressive ninja or you get a ninja who's gonna hold down and lock down a site. And yeah, I would like for Noct to wake up a little bit on that. You have a trademark, which by the way, we haven't talked about that, Becky. What is, I think it's a little bit unfair that they took away a trip from
sucks.
Chamber.
What's ready?
It's so awful. How are you supposed to like
I'm
know
sorry, Riot
exactly
Games.
where?
I'm sorry, Riot Games, but that was a dirty thing to do to Chamber. You can't. I completely agree with everybody. You can't call Chamber a Sentinel and then take away the Sentinel ability. You know, though, doing a great job on the duelist that is Neon. Beautifully done. Getting aggressive. Getting able to do that nice little runaway. We've also been able to see. Oh, whoa. Peekaboo. Okay, Lebj taking out Nidge there, says, you flanked every other round, not letting you this time. Nice up close and personal kill there. All of a sudden, the defensive side down 3-4. And I mean, Zenti has gotten to do some really fun kind of power glides on this this Neon as well in this game. So I'm loving getting to see people get more and more comfortable on this Neon.
I agree, but look at Grimmar. Grimmar agrees
Spike
that flanking
down
is
A.
the strat and able to connect with the last two that were over onto this A side. The two remaining, they're nowhere in the area code here. Becky, they're down into the other map. Gets pinged by the Soba drone. Recon ball also being thrown out there. Give me as much intel as I can since Grimmar. And this reload coming out from Skittle is going to be a blind, but that's not going to connect. Everything is being thrown here at the moment. The Seekers come on through. Skittle swings. It's going to be a Seeker letting you know exactly where the Muffin Man is. And if you guys ever wonder, where is the Muffin Man? He's right here waiting onto A long. The bomb
Not
has
on Drury
been
Lane?
secured. Nope. Not there.
The nursery rhyme lied to me.
10 seconds left.
Disgusting.
They baited you. They baited you and I, just like Skittles did, planting
Spike
over
planted.
onto the C site. They're going to be holding this long because that's the only way that Muffin Man's going to come through.
And I mean, just like that, you heard the operator shot. They know where Muffin Man is trying to come onto this site from, and that's going to make it that much more difficult to get onto this area. Skittles watching this long area. Both of them actually watching this long area, now going to get a better position to also watch this garage area as Muffin Man fault lines to try and start to get on the site.
Ooh, Skittles?
Wow.
I thought he was gonna go right into the aftershock.
Here.
I was gonna be like, you talk about timing, Skittles got it. Look at that, he's about to die to this aftershock. But no, Skittles got it, folks. Skittle is getting their life together here. Don't worry. With that 12, 7, and 2, I've never seen either a luckier or a more unlucky person in my life. But Skittles
so
is it.
funny. It's so funny. But also, I mean, but something is working for it.
Yeah.
Skittles, like you mentioned, everyone else on the team with 6 kills. Skittles with 12. We love to see it. Skittles, you're doing great. I get it. Sometimes you're unlucky. We all are.
Oh, completely agreed. Grimmar is done with this C push. He's gonna drone down the line, get some information. 10-Addy better have those squattily moves to get out of the way of that Hunter's Fury, and does indeed. And so does Zugzy. You know, I feel like Zugzy's should be a move, like a TikTok move.
It does sound like it's
Right?
like a TikTok audio or a TikTok dance for sure.
That's it, chat.
We'll
I
have
need you guys
to-
to
we'll
come
have
up
to
with a
let-
dance.
Yeah, exactly. But make it Valorant themed for Zugzy. Pretty please. Thank you. The defensive side, once again, playing very slow. We're seeing kind of a mirror of last game. We got to see a very back and forth first round, and then we saw one of these teams move to the defensive side and just go absolutely nuts, getting a lot of shots through that dark cover, not really going to connect for any damage. So far, the only one to go,
Spike
go
down mid.
has been that Chamber, but all of a sudden, Megazenti and Zugzy led
30 seconds
once again
left.
trying to
I got
get
the spot.
vengeance onto Midge, but as one of the two members remaining Skittles
player
behind
standing.
any main lines, unfortunately, all that work for naught. Muffin Man says, you know how you made my life really difficult that last round? Yeah, I'm gonna make your life difficult this round, and this round difficult for your team. Ledge, only 12 seconds to get onto site, and just getting ran by the amount of breach utility coming across from those Radiant boxes, and it will be CG to
Last
get
round
themselves
before the
this
switch.
6th
Gun here.
round.
6-5 on the board. we did have a good start for Knock, but now they're finding a little bit of trouble as CG has found their way. And I think it has to be with the fact that Ninja just has been an absolute menace on the backline and also now bringing the operator. Mind you, he could decide to bring out the Tour de Force instead of buying the operator, but if you have money, why not spend it?
Why not spend it indeed? Final round as well. So everybody just gonna go ahead and say, what's the best thing I can buy, Tanati? Not able to find that kill, unfortunately. And now is gonna just wait and see if people decide to go for these lurks. But what really is lurking down below is Ninja with this operator. Went ahead, has a phantom, but says, maybe I'm just gonna go ahead and stick with this operator as, yo, I'm pissed, says Neon as she runs onto site with the zappy fingers and takes out Zyrix, picks off Yuno as well. This is how you use an overdrive, says Zentia, but you know, it only lasts for so long. I can only hype people up for so long before it all starts to go downhill. That's just how it goes. Rolling Thunder to bring it all home from the defensive side. That was more difficult for Zugzy. Can't even get a shot off before that scope coming out from Nidge. 4 kills, has 1 more to get, and a bomb to defuse in this 1v1 situation, waiting for left to peek around from this long angle. Oh no, the guiding light to make it that much more difficult as well. Hides, goes for the defuse.
He's holding it halfway.
Oh my gosh, does get it to halfway, but has to go and sit back on it. Oh, gets the ace and the defuse. CG ace for Nidge. 7 rounds. They're coming out on top in this game.
Ninja, the man, the myth, the legend, able to get that ace. Wow, just okay, we are getting the best of the best. And you know what? At the end of this game, I don't care who's the winner. I'm just happy that we're getting this type of content. We, the production, always have a little fun time in the back. You know, we're always like, how do you think this game's going to go? And, you know, we couldn't have asked for a better game, period.
You know, I've got something I really need to point out. So, last game, Icebox. Ninja also played Chamber.
That's not ready.
Bottom of the board was the lowest fragging player and lowest combat score for CG. This game,
nice spot first.
22 and 8. Next highest is Grimar, who was top of the board last game at 10 and 9. If that doesn't like kind of spell how I feel this game is going to go, I don't know what does. Zenti trying to be aggressive alongside Zugzy. I mean, the aggression is going to work, but Ninja on the other side of the map so far so good and is going to try and do a little bit of a wraparound and make some magic from that previous round happen once again, but misses those headhunter shots, has no more bullets, has to switch to the classic, and that's just not as powerful here.
Last player standing.
Not as powerful indeed. The Muffin Man trying to get that Muffin Man power. Able to connect once, looking for the second, but it's a blind that comes through to allow Zentis to survive with what is 12 health and a dream.
I mean, I believe that we also saw the side of not take the first 2 rounds last one. So, and they still ended up not being ahead at the end of it. So maybe they're more comfortable on pistols. They know how aggressive they can be on pistols, and they're just ready for it. But I think that there's still a lot to be said for the absolute insane game that we're seeing out of Nidge here on Haven, and I think we're in a situation where I'm all of a sudden getting taken down to 22 HP. Maybe I should stop hyping people up. The moment that I start to go absolutely crazy on hype, something bad happens to them. And just like that, the attacking side fast lane onto site off the back of Yuno on this Neon. The bomb will get planted, so they will get those extra credits, which is gonna feel pretty good, especially on the save round that we're seeing from them coming on to this round.
Yeah, they're gonna get to fight for this post plant, but the weapon advantage is in the hands of these defenders. 10 Addy already popping off once. Grimar able to connect with Zenti. Now it's a 4v4. The right clicks need to connect, but no. Yes, Muffin able to get through. The Spectre's doing some damage, but not quite enough. And Muffin Man clutches it out once again.
What did we just watch? What? Yeah, okay, we need the replay. Give it, please help Okay, all right.
We see it.
So we see Nitch like get just taken out by that. Well, it looked like we got taken out by the dog. Then we get a nice shot there, and then Muffin Man is like, okay, get into this little kerfuffle. While that's happening, Zugsy trade out. Skittles and Grimar trade out. All of a sudden, it's left just up to 2 players, and Muffin Man finishes off the final kill.
With the classic.
I mean, wow. Absolutely.
I want that classic.
Wow. I mean, yeah, my classic doesn't shoot like that. And just like that, Nox Gaming, who were ahead on the previous round, Ledge bought a Stinger into this round. That just doesn't match up very well against a Vandal, especially at that close of a range. And so down a member for the defensive side, able to rendezvous back to join the rest of the team as Nidge. They're just pushing onto the C site. Blinds as well, though nobody is home. And they're going to be able to get this bomb down once again.
Oh, that stun and the flash gonna give away the position of both of them. But hey, look, it's a trade from Zenti coming on through. They're spamming through the smoke. We've seen so many spam smoke kills. It's a treat.
I mean, if you have the game sense to know the default areas that people would hold, especially through things like those Gradientite boxes that are
One enemy
remains. You didn't have to do that, Nidge. You didn't have to do it. Skittles the only one remaining in an unlucky situation once again. Pushed from every angle and blinded. And 9 rounds to CG.
Okay, we're starting to see what we saw the first map, which was Icebox here, Becky. It is, I feel like CG is just very comfortable on the attack. They know what they have to do, which is aggression at its finest. They just aggress together. So if you are knocked, you start kind of bringing down your defense. Okay, maybe we should play a little bit more back. Make sure that we have enough players to retake together. Make sure that we're flashing for each other. Make sure we're holding longer angles, maybe not over peeking. That might be the best turnaround here as Zenti holds this aggressive garage angle.
Yeah, I mean, we got to see it a lot from CG's defensive side. They held back a lot. They got ready to play retakes with one another a lot of the time. And as we're seeing kind of from Zenti here in this garage area, that's just not the same way that Noct Gaming are trying to play this. They're trying to get aggressive. They're trying to get some of those picks. On some sides of the map, they're ready to, like, I mean, it's different when you're Tenati and you're this chamber and you can rotate. But if you're Zenti, you're Neon. You're not Jet. You can't use that tailwind to get away. You know, is going to get taken out here by Tenati, so that's an unfortunate start to this. That rendezvous away as well makes it look so easy, and the defensive side agents. Zenti, though, after playing peekaboo with Nidge for long enough, that aggression is going to not go to the attackers away. Guiding light blinds back and forth. Nobody is allowed to not be blinded.
30 seconds left.
Okay, nice
Spike
little
down
peek back
A.
out and peek back in. Still remains blinded, but you know, is safe nonetheless. I mean, 4-2.
One enemy
here.
remaining.
We get 4-1 as Lexi picks off Muffin Man's Irix, the only member of the attacking side remaining blinded. And your own start covered, can't peek out, falls to Ledge around, going back to the defensive side of Noct Gaming's away.
Okay, I feel like that was a round that was given to Noct there because CG, I just said, what is impactful for them is just pushing onto site and pushing together and pushing aggressively. This round, they were playing not even a default. They were playing like one lurkabout and the rest of the squad goes onto a site. I don't know if it was just because they were a little bit scared of the chamber holding out that long. But they were a little bit too patient on that round. So if they want to continue to buy up their rounds, they need to be aggressive. And I am digging this mid push.
Yeah, I mean, they saw the opposing side get to do it as well.
Ooh.
Spike down B.
The moment that the sound of that plant started to go off, that shot came out, placed perfectly. Nicely done.
You want to play? Let's play.
Zugsy's going to go ahead and use these flashes alongside these seekers coming out from the sky as well to make it that much more difficult for the attackers to peek out for this defuse, and it is just being held. Zenti from downtown, running all across the. Whoa! Okay. All right, Nidge, we see you. We know you're going crazy on the frags this game. That was a lot. You didn't get the round, but it was cool. Zenti also picked up 3 kills. It was also cool. people are just trying to do things so fast that I can't talk to keep up.
Yeah, guys, come on. We need to take it a little bit slower. Becky's been sick a little bit. All right,
Yeah, oh my.
we need to show those movements and top frags a little slower for us casters. We can only speak so fast. But the amount of just movement and fluidity coming out from both of these teams is amazing. I have to say, I love the fact that Zenti is starting to really work it out. And again, in the backline, as continues to try to get out. But this Hunter's Fury gets connected twice, but able to stay alive another day.
Yeah, I mean, thankfully, the little zoomy Sonic that is Neon able to narrowly avoid that Hunter's Fury and join up with that Sky to get a little bit of heals as well. Unfortunately, Skittles is going to remain probably a little bit worse for wear. Zugzy is also going to be able to take out Grimmar, and all of a sudden, I don't know what happened for them on the defensive side, but Noct Gaming have really figured out how to stop the onslaught that CG have brought on multiple occasions.
Yeah, and I feel like it's because CG hasn't been as aggressive on this half. I stated it, they really do a really good job just aggressing onto a site and forcing their way in there. And this time around, they're kind of waiting a little bit to see if Noct does a mistake or if they overpeak or just trying to gather some information. And as they try to gather some information, it is
30 seconds left.
Noct that kind of capitalizes on that and gets the kill, and then repositions as well. They're doing really great on repositioning.
Repositioning, it looks like the attacker is trying to do that as well. Skittles is going to throw out a defensive paranoia, and an aggressive one is going to come right back. Running onto site, but fast lane to make it difficult for Zenti to see that first entry onto site. Unfortunately, both of the other players not following the way that ran means that we are at an even 9-9 off of Zenti picking up those 2 kills.
And I appreciate this timeout. It allows us to breathe, not only that, but also talk about what is working out for Noct here, Becky.
I mean, they're just doing a great job of holding different positions every single time and trying to make themselves as unpredictable as, like, we weren't seeing that from Icebox on Noct Gaming's side. We were seeing a lot of the same thing, a lot of the same default attacking strategies, a lot of the same default defensive strategies. And this time around, we're really getting to see a difference that is just holding different angles, doing a lot of different directions, and also just a different use of utility. It feels like Noct Gaming are a lot more comfortable on this map. They're utilizing their utility a lot better. They're playing as a team and communicating, it feels a lot better. And I think it's a big reason that, especially since they've been able to come back these last 3 rounds and get us to an even game, also just like helped morale and brought themselves to a better advantageous point in this game. And every time that they've been able to take out Ninja, it's just been like easy. That's kind of the downside to having that one player who's just like having a really hot game. If you have one player who's having a hot game and the rest of your players are not, maybe, like the moment that that top frag goes down, you're looking a little bit shabby. And unfortunately, that seems to kind of be the situation that we're seeing.
Yeah, and this is going to be another one of those rounds where they're going to play it slow because they don't have that weapons and that utility that they so need to push onto this site. They're going to follow up this drone up onto A-Long to make sure everything is clear, but just like we were talking about, it is Noct that's playing very passive on this defense, making sure that they wait for the rest of the squad. The recombo goes down, the flash goes through. Skittles having the game of his life as well. Overdrive comes on through, able to connect with Zugzy, trying to find the returning Neon, but unfortunately Neon does not pick on through, and now this Overdrive is starting to window. Nobody's pushing onto the site. They just had a Lear come on through. It's going to be that Heaven can true for Leb here as they try to get their teammates onto this side to get the reviews.
Yeah, I mean, the upside to having something like that Neon is, if you're waiting to wait out that Overdrive, that's a long time that you're not pushing onto site, and a long time that that bomb is ticking down, and all of a sudden, Tenati is the only one left for Noct Gaming, says, I'm gonna go ahead and save my gun, not worry about pushing into this 1v3. This is one of the harder sites to push in onto that is on this map of Haven, so I appreciate you saying, this is gonna be too rough. Not gonna bother with the 1v3. Gonna hold on to the operator and keep it for the next round.
And that was a huge round for CG, Becky. They were low on economy. That was like a save. That was a full-on save. They only had a Sheriff. Maybe they had the Spectre. I think they might have picked up that Spectre. I could be wrong, though. But they were looking to really buy up this round. So that was a statement. The statement says, we don't need weapons. All we need to do is make sure we play together, get the kills, and we'll win this game easy peasy, no problem.
And so far, I mean, it's looking like they're having a little bit of a problem. We've seen quite a bit of back and forth. It's not been as swift of an end as we saw on Icebox, but is still slightly going in CG's favor as I say that. Lebj, I mean, we said this last game. Lebj and Nidge are just like at each other's throats. They're always the two that are fighting each other at the start of the round. They're always the ones going back and forth, and it's always one of them killing the other. And so far, that still remains to be the same. From the Shadows going to come up with a little bit of information, and unfortunately, I mean, every time the peak comes out, Lebj just somehow comes out on top. We know that Skittles might be close. Cyrix checking a lot of those default angles, but so far, marking a lot of them as clear, waiting for the defensive side to position themselves to get ready for this retake.
They do. Defenders have a man advantage. They also have tons of flashes. Oh my land, have 4 Unos. Like, where do I even look?
One enemy remaining.
Coffee Man, spray and pray. Able to get 2, but Xerix also helping out a friend. Says, don't you worry. I can help you out here.
What? I mean, did we also get blinded on the defensive side? Because everybody was looking the same way. Everyone's looking Xyrix's way, and somehow everyone dies to Xyrix. Xyrix doesn't die, and then Muffin Man is able to clean up the 2 who are reloading their guns.
Yeah.
I have a lot of questions. I feel like there could have been some communication that could have gone Knocked Gaming's way a little bit better and helped at that situation. Somehow y'all just ended up all in that same kind of clumped up area and got sprayed down. And it's just a little unfortunate. Let's make sure that that doesn't happen again. And at the start of this round, so far, at least very spread out, but Grimar are going to follow up with this fast lane on site with Yuno. Gets a little bit concussed, but not going to be a problem when you find that headshot, one shot, one kill for that Sova, as well as kills going across for Yuna and Cyrix as well. Bomb is down. 2 members of the defense left between CG and their match point.
Lebj, you don't need a slow walk, my dude. You have weapon disadvantage. The bomb is planted. All you need to do at this moment is get some damage onto these enemies. Maybe potentially get the bomb. You know, the hope is to clutch it out and get this point for your team to not be down to the match point. So that's not going to be the case here. It's going to be down to this next following round. And in this next following round, we're going to have those Seekers. We're going to have the Tour de Force coming out for these defenders, and potentially even the Rolling Thunder if Zuggs can get either a kill or get that orb following up, which could mean that we're going to see a little bit of a fight onto the C site, pushing up for that orb. Maybe Zuggs' site's A site might be the best way to get that orb, but no, it looks like he's leaning a little bit more towards that C site or committing to get a kill. These attackers, they have the lead. They can even play around with a round or 2 if they do fall short onto this following round, but this is down to the wire, Becky. If you are just joining us, guys, CG has won the first map, which was Icebox, and this we are onto this last map, which is Haven, map point as well, as they push onto this B site.
Yeah, and if CG can win this one, they win the series. I mean, the shots coming out from the run and gun from Skittles are not going to be able to find Yuno, and actually will be Nidge holding that angle, making sure that Yuno is safe. Nice little trade back and forth with Xyrix, also holding these creative angles. Again, that running entry onto B. You can tell that CG just wants to end it here and now. Xyrix falling to Lebj while concussed. The slow shots are going to be more than enough, and all of a sudden, Yuno trying to wade through the slow field, trying to find Lebj. And hold is good, finds it barely, but it is half. Tries to run around the relay bolts to make sure that Tanati is concussed, and you're just running into Tanati. That's like nothing even matters, but it's going to be good for the defuse, and Knocked Gaming keep themselves in it a round longer.
I don't even know what to say here, Becky. If you're able to hit your shots while you're stunned from the Rolling Thunder, good for you. Good for you. Good crosshair placement. 10 Addy. You just had to risk it for the biscuit there. You either go for it or you lose. And that's what hope is. Hope is just going for it and hoping that you can finish it out for your team. And that's what happens. Live another day. It is down once again to the point match. I told you, yes, CG could mess around with a couple rounds. They still have the economy to do something. But it's Nock who has a lot to prove here. And if they want to take it onto that third map, they need to win.
Oh, the blind is good. The shot comes out from that operator, but the rendezvous to safety. Unfortunately, towards the middle of the map, Zugzy picks off Nib. And just like that, we're seeing Juno try to go for this aggressive play once again. Finds the kill onto Zugzy, gets a little bit of vengeance here. Batman moment. Unfortunately, Skittles there to do the exact same thing. Finds Juno, and now the attackers are on this C site. They're just trying to figure out where the best place is to plant. Grimmar with a nice little round to pick off Skittles as well and bring themselves to an even situation. Pulling out the gun at a nice time. Not going to be caught with that knife out. Finds Grimmar. And now he's going to have to do the exact same thing again, but Zyrex waiting for that one. Ready to take this one as well. Finds that kill. 1v1 situation here between Zyrex and Zenti. The battle of the Z's again. The paranoia comes out. The fast lane goes up. And unfortunately, the peak. Oh my gosh, can you even shoot through all of these? The bomb is not going out. The overdrive is out. And that means that you don't have to land those shots. Right, Zenti is going to be able to bring themselves yet another round, keeping us in this game.
Zenti had the hope, had the will, and had the overdrive to make sure they clutch it out. And hey, look, an extra bonus onto that, giving out that op over to Natty, who has been a menace, onto the A site. And maybe that's the thing. Maybe that's where the attackers go, as the bomb is leaning that way, and the economy now starting to dwindle for these attackers. They are able to buy this round. They're even going to bring out that toward the force. So it's going to be the battle of the operators onto this potentially A site. I don't know. The bomb's kind of straggling along. Well, where do you think they're going to go here, Becky?
I mean, it looks like they're trying to just go for a fast barrage into C, and just like that, Zenti getting hit by a menagerie of utility. The fast lane to try and keep Zenti safe here as well does kind of give away that they know that Zenti is in there. Tanati from a different area is able to take out that long range kill. The smokes are down, and Zyrex going down makes it that much more difficult for them to get onto a site and get some of these creative angles. And just like that, Nidge, though, able to make sure that the same thing is true for the defensive side. No omen for you either. No smokes for either of us. That's just even. That's how it should be. Tanati is going to get a little bit concussed by that fault line, but recovering and able to peek out once again with this operator.
Oh man, it's gonna be the swing. Who's gonna swing first? Is the aim gonna be there? Is the crosshair placement gonna be crispy clean? Yes, indeed. 10 Addy able to get Grimoire. No recon bolt, no shock bolts, no information. 10 Addy.
Spike
coming? No. Ledge does clean up town, but guess what? We're going to overtime, baby.
Holy
Switching
smokes,
sides.
12 to 12, 3 rounds in a row, going Nox away to bring themselves to an even area in this game, and we're going for a little bit of a switch. But I mean, this was a place where we really got to see Nidge on this chamber just dominate. Is at 32 kills, first of all, crazy. Second of all, definitely a place where Nidge was very feeling safe and doing a absolutely fantastic job. So it feels like on the defensive side with the switch going into overtime, it should be slightly CG flavored, unless we're able to see Noct Gaming pull something out of their back pocket here.
Yeah, I agree. If you have and if you can kind of come up with a plan here onto this attack, I think attacking side for CG was a little bit lackluster, at least for my liking. Now that they're getting to start on this defense once again, they could bring that momentum back in their favor. And you said it before, you can't just rely on one player feeling themselves. You really have to rely on the rest of the squad to be able to pull on through. And if it's any time for the squad to show up, it has to be now.
Yeah, and I'm a little bit worried that we won't be able to see either of these chambers be able to pull out operators either, because of the credit kind of strap that we're seeing as a result of overtime. So it'll be interesting to see if that ends up being something that they want to dedicate themselves to, or if they just continue to hold on to rifles.
Spike down.
No fears here as Nidge is feeling just as comfortable with that rifle. Gives him a nice early kill there. The Paranoia getting ready to come out. The dark covers as well. The bomb is stranded, and they're trying to figure out how much utility they have to throw out to go and retrieve it. Unfortunately, Zugzy not prepared. Falls to Yuno. Skittles, Zyrex Skittles, Yuno, just an entirely back and forth feed. Yuno picks up a 3K, and it will be CG to pick up the first round of our overtime.
Switching sides. Match
I
point.
I like the idea that 10 Addy had, which was, okay, I'm gonna be the lurk for my squad. My squad already has the site. There was a lot of miscommunication happening onto that C site for Knocked. They had the bomb, they had the site, but for whatever reason they didn't plant, and then the bomb got left like in the middle of nowhere, and the late lurk didn't really help for the squad. I like the vision. Unfortunately, it didn't come through, and now they're Knocked is left to defend on this half and make it work and take us to a double OT if they want this map.
Oh, Ledge throwing out a very early guiding light. Owlroom to also come out, looking out to Natty first to go ahead and make an early shot and rendezvous away. That's a lot of early utility that we're seeing from both of these teams. And I think that if this ends up going kind of long, unfortunately it might not, as Zugzy picks up 2 kills onto C Long, and that C Long actually had the spike as well. Oh my gosh. I don't even feel like we're watching the same teams anymore. We can't be doing split pushes like this.
Both of the teams have left their spike stranded in no man's land. I don't know what happened there, but Zugz has decided, you know what, I'm about to pop off.
Wait, how did you know get the bomb? Wait, you didn't even touch it. How? What?
Oh. Taken out.
10 Addy getting caught out now. Man, you know, everyone is just falling apart here.
What is happening? I don't even know what I'm. Oh my gosh, and somebody bought an operator and Grimmar's able to pick it up. Oh no.
30 seconds left.
Actually gets the jump there. 30 HP on Yuno in a 2v3 situation. Waiting for this breach to come up and join Muffin Man and Yuno. We talked about him last game. They were the Jet and Sage combo previously. Can the Neon and Breach combo be as strong here? Getting ready to get themselves in a situation for the retake on the defensive side. Dark cover to come out. Very backed off. Oh my gosh, the double flash actually working wonders. Pick off 2 kills. Ledge, the only one remaining, and has to drop out from heaven. Takes a little bit more damage to the angles. Oh my gosh, what the? Whoa! What a shot. The overdrive is taken out from Yuno. We don't know where the final player is. Muffin Man gets peeked into and finishes it off.
Yeah. Hello, Crow. What did you think about that? Oh, I think Crow might be muted. He's too hyped.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, okay. That's how I feel too.
I had to mute myself because I was making some really interesting noises that were a little too loud for my mic. But oh my god, those last like 5-6 rounds were just absolutely ridiculous. First off, shout out to Nidge for dropping a 30 bomb this game. Just king of the mountain, just popping them left and right. Chamber nerfs, no problem. It doesn't matter. This man's still gonna.
1 trademark's all you need.
Hey, it's insane. The man really was just pulling off such great work. And speaking of great work, Yuno in those last rounds,
something turned, something changed.
Just clicked immediately. You know, just the flash entering the Speed Force. Just like I see everything. Just incredible work from the team. Oh my goodness, Cataclysm showing us a cataclysmic event there, and just being able to pull it back and just such great.
I feel winded after that game, and I wasn't even the one playing it. I mean, I'm talking the whole time, it feels like, but they made it hard to talk over that game because it felt like there was always something happening. The moment that things started to happen, it was just like so quick, and it was just, I mean, that's kind of a great thing, and that's a lot of what you see in high-level Valorant, especially because so much of it comes down to just, like, it's the same thing in kind of, like, League of Legends, and you can bring it to a lot of other games as well. So much ends up kind of culminating into just, like, one interaction, one kind of contact moment and one kind of team fight. And the way that we got to see CG slowly start to find themselves in those team fight situations, the way that they were utilizing their utility, especially on this map where we got to see these really heavy utility agents like the breach, and especially the difference in utility that you get to see from even something like the neon, something like the fast lane, along with the relay bolts that just allow for the extra concussion to go along with the fault lines, as well as the ability to get onto site with those fast lanes. You're just getting to see such a range in utility. In the moment they, especially like we were mentioning, it finally felt like got into this like, oh, this is what I'm supposed to be doing on Neon. And the moment that we got to see that comfort level and that trust in the rest of the team alongside of it, because it's not like Jet, you don't have a get out of jail free card in the Tailwind. I mean, they've changed it a little bit to make it less that way, but even still, you don't have something like that to utilize. And in that way, you really do have to trust in your team, trust your team to be there to back you up the moment that you push in onto a site. And I feel like the moment that got comfortable with that, we really got to see just a completely different game from the side of CG, and ultimately see that overtime end up going in their favor.
Yeah, absolutely insane. New,
That
any
was
thoughts on that series? Just
1000% with Becky, but also I have to give a shout out to Noct. They were able to switch things around that second map, and you don't get to see a lot of that from a team who doesn't do perform as well the first map. Sometimes you get that mentality shift on over to the second map where you feel like, darn, we did so terrible, and then they kind of get down in the slumps about the second map. But they did phenomenal. They really did really great on the attack, and on the defense we even saw was it Senti and Skittle come alive as well. They just did so great, and I think that had they had a little bit more composure on the attack, maybe a little bit more rounds on the attack, they could have definitely won the second map. But it's not over yet. Yes, you're on a 2-0, but you showed some amazing Valorant that second map. It's just making sure that that's what you do on your first map to make sure you get the dub.
absolutely, completely echoing the sentiments. They were so close. Shout out to Noct having that mental strength to get it all the way to that overtime. Just fell short a little bit in the end. 2-0 for Cataclysm Gaming in the end. Amazing job by both teams tonight. And yeah, that was even though it was a 2-0.
Those were
it was
fantastic
a
games.
Yeah.
Yes,
From
such
both
fantastic
teams.
gameplay. For sure, for sure. With that being said, though, we will have to bid you adieu for now. Next week, same place, same time. Ugh. Man, those automatic air fresheners still scare me to this day. Especially when you have headphones on, I forget that it's there.
Yeah.
And it's just like
Do you want to
literally
say
my
hi?
soul coming out of my body.
Yeah, do you want to come say hi?
Oh,
We have a special guest.
Yes, we do.
we
He
have
says
a
you can't
special
see him
guest.
super well, but
Oh.
he says thanks for the games. Y'all did really good. Also, give me snacks.
Give me
All of the
send
snacks.
All of the
Send
snacks. Send
indeed.
snacks, please.
Do we have I think we say the player of the game, yes? Do we have that? Or
Do
do we have the MVP? Oh, we're working on it, folks. So we do have a play. If you guys, I'm sorry. Do you want to ask the question? I took over your job there, Crow. I'm gonna sit back here. You take it over.
Everyone in chat, whoever you think is MVP of the series, whoever had the best performance, there is a poll going right now in chat. Please vote for your favorite. I know who my main man in this entire game was. I hope you guys have it down too. Ladies, I'm just saying, like, Nitch was kind of crazy.
Oh, absolutely. Especially in that last game. I mean, I kind of talked about it almost nonstop. There were just like a few kills, even in rounds that CG didn't win, where I was just like, how are you even hitting these shots? I mean, it was crazy. And in the first game, like, I don't know if I would have thought that we would name Nidge at all. Because somebody just who was bottom of the board, like, held it down for the team, was doing chamber things. But the moment that we got to see Nidge come on to this Haven, just absolutely insane.
The stars
gameplay.
aligned, everything came. It's just like omnipotent being, and by a little bit of a landslide.
A little bit.
He did get that MVP vote. As they're pulling that up on screen now. The man is actually just so good. So good.
So
just
crazy.
From middle of the pack, near bottom of the table.
Chamber nerfed, by the way.
Right.
Yeah. Where?
30 bomb. 33 kills in that last game.
Yeah, I
So
believe his
crazy.
combat score was
300,
352
yeah.
or 58, somewhere around there.
52.
52.
Next highest was 251 from Zenti.
Wow.
So
That's quite the difference between.
Mhm.
Oh my goodness, Nidge.
Listen, I
Nidge.
know we have a winner, but can my MVP be from the not winning team?
Absolutely.
My winner would have been Skittle, because I feel like Skittle is
That's
so
fair.
relatable to all of us who are not Immortal Radiant ranked. We either pop off one game or you like just down in the dumps the other one. So Skittle, you're the regular people MVP.
was a ton of fun to watch Skittles, and
Yeah.
it's always just awesome to watch somebody who plays Omen. I don't know, maybe it's because
Oh,
I
yeah.
play Omen a lot, but I just think
Same.
Omens are so fun to watch because sometimes you just get yourself into these situations where you're just like, oops, my bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, like literally first thing that comes to mind in game in map 2, Skittles, that pistol round after the swap, like I was like, all right, Skittles is playing all right, then jumps over and gets a triple. It's like, all right, whatever, I'm still here, guys. Don't forget
Yeah.
about me. And I'm just like, all right, Skittles still got it, still wrecking it. Okay, very good. But yeah, definitely enjoyed watching this lineup. Noct Gaming. Oh my god, this is only week 2, ladies.
Yeah.
Only week
Still have
2.
We're
so
spoiled.
much to go. Right.
Spoiled.
So much to go. Oh man, but we got to say goodbye for now. We got to get moving, skedaddle into our next endeavors. So, for everyone here on the desk, I've been the Beautiful Crow. That is Becky over there, and that's the cutest of cute noobs as well. And we will see you guys next week. Bye bye.
Bye bye.